Hello, how are you doing? Welcome to a brand new week, a brand new day. Let's do this. I've got lots to say. I promise I'm not going to talk in rhyming couplets the whole time, if indeed that is what I did. The first thing I want to say, today is a great opportunity to begin with a blank piece of paper and a pen and to ask yourself, what if? Or wouldn't it be cool if? I first heard this phrase when I was training as a coach 10 years ago. That sense of wouldn't it be cool if? I think it's so easy to be doing the next thing or looking at your watch or answering the next email or whatever it might be and being in that reactive zone. And sometimes there's this assumption that something is going to happen in one particular way and that's the only way that it can happen. And I really disagree with that. There have been so many times in my life where goals have materialized or shifted or moved on in the weirdest and unexpected ways. But the difference has been that I have been committed to being in the process. And this is a really, really important part of making progress. So let me just come back to the first thing that I was going to say. Grab your piece of paper and a pen today and have it on your desk. Have it available for you to capture your ideas, your thoughts, your feelings, and to be open to what comes up. I often feel like sometimes ideas are like trying to squeeze themselves out. And if you're in a good spot, if you're in a good flowy state, they can just kind of like come out easy peasy. And then there are some days where you just feel like, oh, it just feels a bit sticky. It feels a bit hard. It feels very arduous. So just create that blank piece of paper for yourself and give yourself the opportunity, should that idea arise, to come and play and hang out. The second thing I want to say is last week, around the 18th of September, 18th of June, it was a Sunday. I did a big plan for the next 90 days. And that felt really good. Usually I do a monthly plan, but actually I've got some bigger things that I'm working on at the moment. I've got some bigger projects and some of them are going to require a lot of back and forth. They're going to require a lot of space in between. They don't just rely on me. And I thought building that 90-day plan for me would be really exciting. I hope that makes me sound like a real geek. But for me, it has to be exciting. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it. Spoiler alert. But honestly, I'm always doing that with my children. You know, if I need them to tidy up, if we're trying to get ready in the morning, I will come up with all kinds of games. The other day, Matt even said, because my daughter was really upset about something, I would have never have thought to go down that route at all. Wow, your brain goes to some creative places. Obviously, I took it as a compliment because I did manage to solve the problem. But I think being in that place where you're open to the possibilities, you're thinking 3 months in advance, is a really great place to be. So what has happened since? So a week later, I have been tuning in and checking in and seeing what's going on, and really spending some time in relationship with my goals, with my dreams, with my things that I'm planning and sharing and expanding. And there's something really powerful about being that accountable to yourself. Because how often have you seen something or something's attracted your attention, or you've been in a conversation and you might think, oh, I quite fancy that. Oh yeah, that would be nice. And then you never think about it again. So create that space, create that detail about what it is that you're building, what you're working on, and then actively be in conversation, be in communion with it so you can work together to bring it to life. Another thing I want to say is you might be at this stage of the year where things are not happening quick enough for you. This is very familiar to me because I don't like to admit it, but I will because we're friends around here and I will always be very honest with you. I am quite an impatient person. I don't want to say I'm quite Veruca Salt because I would like to think I have a bit more grace and dignity than that. But I do have to work with my patience. Because what can happen with patience, and I know this happens with my clients as well, if you're watching, hello. When you put your mind to something, when you get a plan in motion, once you start taking action, there can be that tendency to do that sort of toddler, arms folded vibe and think, it's not happening quick enough. Like, where is it? Where is my dream? I've started working on it and it's not coming quick enough. And this cropped up for me with the children's book that I've written. So if you're just getting to know me and getting to know yourself in terms of these videos at the moment, I wrote a children's book this year, which is the first of a trilogy series. I absolutely loved writing it. It was so much fun. It spilled out of me. Obviously, it was tucked in there somewhere. And now it is in the inboxes and in the hands of literary agents because I completed it and I've sent it off and now I wait. But yet, yesterday, even though I only sent it off maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was asked about it and then I suddenly thought, oh, I haven't heard anything yet. Do you see? Do you see how my body language changed? Like, oh, I haven't heard anything yet. Oh no. Well, maybe, and this can happen in so many different ways, whatever the goal is. Maybe you go into frustration or anger or like a bit of a spoiled brat or frustration or comparison. Like, well, why did that person, all of that? You know the stuff. So instead, I actively chose, and it was handy, the timings all worked out. I actively chose to get back into the creativity of it. And I was out and about doing some food shopping yesterday, and I decided to go into my local Waterstones bookshop. Now, I've had a couple of chats with people in there previously when I was doing my research, when I was doing my applications, and I went over to where I think it's going to sit really well. So actually, that's one of the questions that they ask you when you submit your work. Who does it sit next to? What kind of other books does your reader like? What kind of other authors do they choose? So I went in and I just took it in. I took in this space. I took in the visual of what might happen if my book was in there, how cool it would be that, you know, if I go into that bookshop all the time with my children where it's like, oh, let's see if mummy's book's there today. I looked at the R section and I thought, oh, right, because I'm RAB, I'm usually like one of the first R's in the alphabet. And I just thought, oh, I'd be next to that person. As soon as I did that, as soon as I went into the space of, I'm just somebody writing a book and I hope to get this book out there. I can't wait to share this story. And I went into that space rather than, why is it not happening quick enough? Because actually, I don't know if I said this, most of them don't come back to you for about 8 to 12 weeks. So on week 3, why am I moaning about the fact that people haven't got back to me? They don't owe me a reply. They've got a list of other ones to go through. So what I need to do is hang tight, but still be in that place of doing it. Another thing that has come up for me today is looking at possibilities and thinking about all the different ways that whatever I'm building or I'm creating could happen. So I often do this with money goals. I will do the maths. I will do the figures. So say my money goal was, I'm just using an example, £100. What and how many do I need to sell in order to make that £100? And what happens then is it then just becomes a numbers game. Okay, I need to sell 10 things at £10. Great, I'm going to go and do that. And automatically it takes the space and the kind of fogginess around it, and it gets me into right, I need to find 10 people then. I need to make 10 offers. Probably need to make more than that, but let's get this thing out there. One final thing I want to say today, because I am doing this workshop on Saturday, the 1st of July, next Saturday morning, is that this could be your date that you look back on. I can hear Matt doing his DIY. This might be the date that you look back on and you say to yourself, oh, I remember the 1st of July. And you say it with that smile, you say it with that brightness, or maybe you say it with a, oh yeah, with a wink and a nudge, like, oh, I remember the 1st of July. Because this could be the date that you then refer back to. So I did a little post on Instagram. Let me share it with you, so I'm not looking all over the shop. Here we go. 1 second. Let me just do this. Talk amongst yourselves. Here we go. Why is that not? Oh, here we go. I'm looking in my video section. And that is wrong. So I said earlier, I used to think that I used to be able to remember car registrations and phone numbers. Yes, it's true. I could lock in digits ready to retrieve at any moment. Those days are long gone, as they have been replaced with so much other stuff. However, I hold on to some weird and wonderful dates. 18th of May, 1998, I started my GCSEs. 27th of May, 2011, I moved in with Matty. 4th of April, 2022, I began hot yoga again. 31st of January, 2021, my first half marathon. The due dates of my pregnancies, even though neither of my children were born on those dates. The 7th of July, 2003, my first professional acting job. So I'm sharing those because what if the 1st of July was the date of your next beginning? The date that you look back on and you remind yourself, oh, that's when things changed. When I made some moves, when I said yes, when I opened a new chapter. So for example, the April the 4th date that I have with yoga, I count every single yoga class I have done from then to now. And it really shows me to be part of a journey. Like, I am progressing forward. I am moving. And you know what? That is incredibly, even if you have a class where you're like, I feel like I am here for the first time. I've got no core strength. I'm tired. Don't know what I'm doing. Everybody's brilliant. There's somebody who's double my age in the back and she's standing on her head. Even when I let my head take over then, I can always go back to that data of saying, no, on April the 4th, 2022, I made a commitment to myself and I'd begun. I didn't talk about it for another year. I actually did the thing. So if you want to make some moves, if you want to map out the next 6 months and be deliberate and discerning and excited about your next 6 months, come to the workshop on Saturday. It's going to be great. There is a full recording as well. You can come to the workshop for £22.22, or you can add in a one-on-one session with me, or you can go all in and say, I want to do this for the whole of July. That's option 3. That's the one that you want there. But come and check it out, nickyraby.com/2023. All the details are there. You can get your ticket and do this thing. Just do the thing. Get started. Give yourself that time, that focus, that space to do the things. Right, I'm going to go. The DIY is hectic and yeah, I'll see you Saturday. Bye.